that my dad wrote about like him and my mom and just kind of like their journey together, their story, stuff like that. So if you want to hear better, I recommend coming closer. Okay. So again, this is from my dad. He wrote it. He just doesn't want to read it. So I will be reading it. Okay. Thank you for everyone for coming to help celebrate Heather's life. Thank you for all the prayers, support, and help you have provided me and my family during this difficult time. I especially want to thank Alyssa and Michelle for the countless hours putting this all together, and Brad for holding it all together in my absence. If you are here today, Heather considers you more than friends. She would have considered you all family. Heather was full of energy, love of life, and loved her family. She supported me and the kids 100% and would always be the first one to help me or anyone in her family if they needed it. I will talk about Heather's and I's life together in our version of our true love story. Heather and I didn't have the typical storybook love story, but to us it was perfect. Heather and I met in 1991, and it wasn't the typical love at first sight fairy tale type meeting. The truth is, I didn't really like her. I don't remember why, but I think it was because when I first met Heather, I didn't truly know her. Later, I came to find out that everyone that truly knew Heather didn't like her, but absolutely loved her. Anyway, I knew her, so in 1991, my brother Brad threw a pajama party. It was a good-sized party, and Heather showed up with a bunch of her girlfriends. We hit it off as soon as she walked through the door. We laughed and danced all night long, never leaving each other's side. She told the kids she went to the party to see me. At the end of the night, Heather was leaving with her girlfriends and stopped and came running back to me with all of Heather's energy, kisses me, and runs back to the car screaming, "You better call me." What a night, our first dance and our first kiss. Well, I didn't call her. I guess I'm a slow learner. A couple of days later, I got into a pretty bad car accident that left me injured for about a week. I don't know how she found out, but Heather was at my house the next day and continued to show up every day bringing me sandwiches from the deli she worked at, and we laughed and talked for hours. Okay, now this is when I fell in love with her. We started dating from that point on for about 2 or 3 years. We were always together and we had such a great time. A couple of years went by and Heather graduated from Mira Mesa College and began going to Long Beach State. So for the next 3 years, we tried the long distance relationship thing, but it didn't really work out. So we were on it again and off again a couple of times. Then in 1997, I broke my ankle doing something stupid with my buddies, and just my luck, that night Heather called me just to say hi. I told her what happened, and again Heather came to the rescue. She said, "I'm on my way." Now I made the trip from Long Beach to Canyon Lake hundreds of times, and it took about an hour and a half to get there. I swear she was there in an hour. Once again, Heather was there every day taking care of me, driving me to the doctors and anywhere I needed to go. So at that point, we were back dating, and this time I wasn't letting her go. A few months went by, and I told Heather we were going to dinner at Peonies in Coronado. That night, we walked out on the beach. I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me. Do you believe it? She said yes. I still can't believe it. After dinner, on our way home, we were so excited, and I asked her, "Did you know?" She said, "No, I didn't know." But on the way down here, I thought to myself, if he doesn't ask me to marry him tonight, I'm going to kill him. Then she said, "What were you waiting for? I mean, shit, we have been dating for 7 years." Now, looking back, I believe God just knew that us two knuckleheads needed this amount of time before we got married. Well, we were married, living in Canyon Lake, and loving every moment with each other. Heather was pregnant with Dean when Brad and I decided to start our own company. I quit my job and had no income for months. We lived off credit cards, and never once did she question my decision or say, "What are you doing?" She supported me the entire time. Dean was born and Megan followed 2 years later. Shortly after Megan was born, she wanted to move back to Fallbrook and to raise our kids. So we sold our house, rented a house in Fallbrook, bought property, and started building. She had a 2-year-old and an infant, but once again, no complaints or questioned me like, "You need to do this now?" Just her full support the entire time. We moved into our new house and Jack was born in 2004. For the next 16 years, we chased the kids around to all their school functions, sporting events, 4-H, college visits, etc. She handled the family with ease and loved our children more than anything. She was so competitive that it was infectious. I can't remember if she was running cross country or it was when she was coaching it, but it was at one of her meets that she was cheering on her team's athletes, screaming in the loud-ass Heather voice, "Pass the person in front of you." Years later, I would tease her in front of the kids about that phrase, and I told them, honestly, I didn't think that poor kid was going to pass the finish line, let alone pass the person in front of them. She said, "I never said that." I never told Heather that. In the back of my mind, I thought that saying was brilliant. Now thinking back over the years, this is how Heather lived her life, and she instilled it in me and the kids. No matter what the situation in life or sports, she would insist we tried harder, worked harder, and then simply pass the person in front of you. In 2013, Heather was diagnosed with breast cancer, and we fought that on and off for the next 9 years. We would go into remission and it would come back 3 separate times. She was so brave and tough and faithful, I will never be able to understand how she did it. Sick or not, she wouldn't miss the kids' games or events. She absolutely loved watching them compete in sports, and she never missed a game. During our 31 years together, like everyone else, we had our hard times and sad times. So, Heather came up with a rule that we lived by, and she instilled it in our children. She said, "You have one day. One day to be sad, mad, or just plain feeling sorry for yourself, and that's it. After that day, we are no longer sad, mad, or sorry for ourselves. We fight on." This is how she dealt with her numerous cancer diagnoses and how we dealt with it as a family. So, in honor of Heather, I'm asking that this morning at the funeral was your day to be sad, mad, or feeling sorry for yourself, and now we fight on. This is what she would want. The way Heather and our relationship worked was based off of our version of true love. You see, I know I married up, and she was way out of my league. I would always joke with the kids when we were all together, and Mom would say something goofy. I'd say, "Sorry guys, I settled when I married her." They would instantly say, no way, we still don't know how you ever got her in the first place." I knew that I was blessed to be married to her, but I didn't realize until recently she felt the same way. She told me that she married up and that I was out of her league. She told the kids I chased your father for years. Do you believe that? They didn't believe her. This was how our love for each other worked. Each of us thought the other was out of their league. We never discussed it. It made us try harder and shower each other with love and attention because we didn't ever want to lose the other. During one of her remissions, I found this piece of property and wanted to build another house. She asked me why. I couldn't come up with a good reason, and after a while she said, "You can do this if you build me my dream farm-style home." So, this is the home Heather designed and decorated, and I built it. Again, fighting cancer and still supporting me all the way during this build. Although her time at this house was short, she absolutely loved it here. She told me one evening when we were having a glass of wine on the patio, "This is where my grandbabies will come visit us." Grandbabies? Not anytime soon. I started our story by thanking everyone, so I finished with a thank you. This is to Heather because I know she's here. She wouldn't miss a party like this for nothing. Heather, thank you for being one of the best wives, mother, and companion I could ever ask for. Thank you for giving me these 3 amazing children you raised in your likeness. These 3 kids, Dino, Megs, and Jack. Jacko are Heather's greatest legacy. These wonderful souls represent everything Heather was. Oh, and one more thing, baby. This one I need more than one day to get over. I will fight on, but I will never get over you. I love you, baby, and I will see you soon. One last thing. To all of you here, Heather says, pass the person in front of you. Thank you.